YouTube, what's going on, man? It's your boy Father Dark, and that sigh was a sigh of just like, what are we doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, I would sit here and take the time to go and read the tweet and stuff like that, but I really don't need to because we've all seen a similar tweet before. It's the same nonsense over and over and over. COD is just like, unfortunately, like it's a bad relationship. You know what I mean? I don't want to say the A word because YouTube is kind of funny, but we're at a point where cheating has been a thing in Call of Duty, like a really big thing ever since cross-platform hit, right? Ever since Warzone 1, people were cheating and stuff like that. We cut it some slack because you had the cross-platform, and we were all, I think, a lot more used to console COD. I didn't even get a PC until like last year. It might have been the beginning of this year. I don't know, but it's been around a year, maybe not even so, that I've had a PC. And the only reason that I got a gaming PC was just because there were so many games that were coming out that they'll say, oh, like Tarkov, stuff like that, where they say, oh, well, we're gonna have a console release, and then it literally never happens, right? And I get it. It's really hard to make a game, let alone make a game that's for multiple different platforms and stuff like that. Especially if you're not like a level of Fortnite, Call of Duty, stuff like that, where they have these massive budgets and development teams and all kinds of stuff. But still, though, I got a PC, and also it was because of the the ability to be able to customize your game and do so many different things. Especially when you're doing content creation, a lot of games just they're not super optimized on console and all that kind of stuff. So. But to get back on track, cheating has been a thing since Warzone 1, and it exponentially got worse, to the point where it kind of hit its breaking point around the, what was it, like, late Black Ops, early Vanguard and stuff like that, to where it was just nothing but people uploading clips of people just absolutely like rage hacking, and with Warzone 2's release, they said, oh, well, we're bringing out Ricochet, right? And the thing about Ricochet is that when you really think about it, they straight up told us, they were like, well, Ricochet is supposed to be an AI learning tool. It's gonna observe people that are cheating and legitimate reports of cheating, and it's going to learn from those things, which is natural for an AI. That's what they do. But the thing about AI that's interesting is there's so many different types of AI, right? And like what I consider to be AI is like Skynet level stuff. Like when Facebook released, an AI and it literally cloned itself, or, created another AI, and they had a conversation for like 2 or 3 minutes before, they shut it down. And to this day, we still don't know what those two AIs were talking about. I mean, you can imagine they were probably talking about taking over the world, unfortunately. But that's real AI to me. The rest of these are just like, they're learning tools, right? Like they have a designated kind of like thing that they do, or a niche or whatever, whether it's cheating or creating a video from a picture, whatever, right? Answering questions, all that kind of stuff. But the thing about AI that's interesting, kind of like the drama that was going on prior to this tweet that got released yesterday, in regards to the art and stuff like that. Not all AIs are the same. And, a lot of these AIs, they don't even understand basic concepts like the fact that all human beings have 5 fingers. With the exception, I'm sure there's some exception. There might be some, definitely probably some people out there with more than 5 fingers or less than 5 fingers, of course. But for the most part, we are walking around with 5 fingers, or you say 4 fingers and a thumb, however you like to think about it. Nonetheless, though, this AI doesn't even understand that that's how many fingers you're supposed to have. It regularly does stuff like adds extra fingers or whatever, right? So why are you basing your whole, anti-cheat off of an AI? Like, just go ahead and make the kernel level anti-cheat. I'm sorry, I know there's a lot of people that feel like, oh, well, if you're making a kernel level, AI, or no, I'm sorry, not AI, but if you make a kernel level anti-cheat, that just gives them too much access, bro. If you're not doing anything you're not supposed to be doing on that computer, there is no reason why you should be worried about that. Like, I'm sorry, anything that you're saying, I really don't want to hear it, man. It's ridiculous. Make it kernel level, and for those of you who don't know, kernel level is basically, it's just like at the computer's most, it's as far as you can go into the computer, right? It reads everything from like the base level, and it can easily tell if you're manipulating the game files in any kind of way, the memory, anything like that. And, it just makes it a lot easier to have a solid anti-cheat that can detect basic stuff like dudes spinning around in circles for 5 minutes straight, just beaming everybody perfectly with headshots, and, seeing people through walls and basic, like rectangles and stuff around their bodies and stuff to make it easier for you, with health bars over their head, like all the stuff that the game was not designed for you to be able to do. And, the thing about Call of Duty is that it is one of the top 3 most played games every year. People love to say, well, Call of Duty is dead. No, it's not. It will never really be, because once you get to the level that Call of Duty has gotten to, where it has been around longer than most of the people that are watching this video have been alive, you're a household name. And when you're a household name, there's a certain type of like power to that you just can't get from like newer games that are starting out. I've seen so many games like COD come and go, even games that came out, back when Call of Duty was first coming out, your Medal of Honors and stuff like that. I've seen so many of them like crash and burn. And COD is still here standing. And it's because of consistency. They consistently create a product every single year that's new and somewhat fresh. I mean, sometimes they're just kind of reskins, but they at least are doing something that other games just aren't doing. A lot of games come out, they make one game, then you don't hear from. Like, look at like Battlefield, for example, right? Battlefield, that's one of its biggest problems is they take so long in between development, and then like with their last game, they took all this time to create the new game. It comes out and then it's terrible, right? It has so many bugs, you could fill up a telephone book with the amount of like bugs and stuff in it, and it's just not desirable to play in comparison to other stuff that's more fleshed out, right? But you've been around for this long, you're this popular, you have more money than you know what to do with. I mean, you were bought out by Microsoft for close to $100 billion. I'm gonna say that again, $100 billion. With that much money, there should be absolutely zero reason why there's ever a problem with cheating. And the thing is that I've tried for as long as I possibly can. I'm probably one of the most optimistic people on the planet, just because, I don't like to sit around and complain. It's not, I'm very much, like a computer in that way, to where like with me, if it's not really like helping the situation, then I don't really want to like, just do it. But sometimes you just got to vent, man. And I'm venting. This video is just a rant, and it's just me venting about the fact that every year with them, it's the same thing. Oh, well, this Call of Duty is selling this many copies. You know why it's selling so many copies? You know why it's so popular? Because there is nothing else really to grab people's attention in this genre of type of like shooter. In the FPS market, you are kind of a monopoly. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, of course you have stuff that tries to come out like X-Defiant and stuff like that. But it's always kind of missing like that. I don't really know how to explain it, but they're not Call of Duty. And like I said, I can understand if COD was like a smaller, developer or something, and they were dealing with these issues. But at the same time, you have other games that don't have these cheating problems. And, I get that you guys probably put a lot of work into Ricochet and the anti-cheat and stuff like that. But just admit you failed. It's okay. Like I was raised by a Marine, someone that I thought was like Superman among us. You know what I mean? Like my dad was one of the toughest, coolest, smartest people that I've ever had the pleasure of being around in my whole entire life. And the one thing that I respected the most about my father was that he never had a problem admitting that he was wrong. If he was wrong about something, he would come to you and he would say, hey, I was wrong about that. In the future, this is what I'm going to do to make sure that doesn't happen again. And it's weird to me because so many people, it's like when they're wrong, they have to like come up with all these different reasons why they weren't wrong. Like, oh, well, see, it was actually this, or well, it's not really us, it's this thing, or blah, blah. Bro, just say you made this anti-cheat, you had the best of hopes for it, you tried it, and it has failed. Now it's time to move on to something that is not gonna fail, or something that is tried and tested and proven, and just put it out there. Yeah, are there some people that cheat on console? Yes, but it is very few and far in between. That's why, like, when you report people and they're on console, they pretty much just laugh at that and brush it off. Those are like trusted accounts and stuff like that. PC though, no problem. I sit here and every day when I get on TikTok to like look at comments or whatever, it pops up with a video. Like 1 out of 3 of the times, it's some dude who's literally rage hacking and he's selling the hacks on TikTok. Now, that's a whole nother issue because I've reported those videos numerous times. And there's literally a section to report on TikTok for when people are cheating in a video game and how that goes against their terms of service. And even though he says he's cheating, you can see it on his screen that he's cheating and he's selling the cheats actively. They do nothing about it. They say we found nothing wrong with it. But the other day, I got a strike for using like copyrighted material, and it was just me showing pictures from comic books to like talk about characters from Marvel Rivals, whatever. That's a whole different video that I'll get into. But like I said though, your game is a joke. It's all anyone can talk about. The game can't breathe because any post or anything that you see is about the fact that anyone who's trying to just play the game, and you can't even say like on a competitive level, like with ranked, you know what I mean? And excuse this gameplay because this is just Warzone ranked, like big map ranked is just kind of boring. Everybody plays in one building. They don't want to move. Everybody just sits there with snipers and stuff. I really do feel like we should probably get back to resurgence rank, simply because on a smaller map like Rebirth, it's perfect. People, you have to engage each other. There is no just sit in this area for 20 minutes of the game until I inevitably get pushed and get eliminated, whatever, right? But like I said though, people are just cheat, whether it's multiplayer ranked, just regular multiplayer matches, Warzone ranked, Resurgence, it does not matter. You're gonna get hacked on eventually once you get to a certain level. And the thing about it is that only higher skill players really have to worry about it. Like, for example, I haven't been playing much ranked because I've been playing a lot more Marvel Rivals, right? And, I've been trying to play a little bit of Delta Force. It's just there's multiple games that I'm trying to give my time and attention to, and it's really hard. And that's really not what I like to do. I'm more of a like one game kind of person. I'm not like a, jack of all trades kind of guy, master of none. I prefer to just play something, no life it until I get really good at it so that I can play it comfortably and not constantly have to be thinking or learning or whatever as much. I mean, you should always be learning in something, but you get what I'm saying, though, as far as, if I'm playing 3 different games, it's just not possible for me to give them all equal attention and understand all the mechanics the same way and stuff like that. So, but like I said, though, I haven't been playing as much ranked. So right now I'm in the lower tiers. You know what I'm saying? I'm only like silver. I play like a handful of matches, silver, working my way up to my normal rank, which would be like diamond, crimson area and stuff. Once you get up to those levels, you are going to run into hackers and cheaters, man. And it's just, it's a guaranteed thing, and I get that like the majority of players are just your regular Joe every day, which there's nothing wrong with. They're just casual people that get on, they play a couple matches, they hide in a corner for most of the match, have 1 or 2 eliminations and feel like they did a good job. That's okay. Perfectly fine with that, right? There should be a space for everybody of all different skill levels and all types of stuff. I'm by no means one of the best players, but I'm definitely someone who is very competitive, and I don't like losing, and I'm going to try to learn everything I possibly can and do everything I can, use meta weapons, all that kind of stuff to excel in a game. But it's just kind of irritating because the average player does not deal with any of the issues of hacking in the game. But when you are in a certain bracket and that skill-based matchmaking kicks in, it's really just punishing you for actually being good at the game. Whereas if you just start a new account and you play like an actual bot, or sentry, then you wouldn't have any of these issues. And like I said, Call of Duty has so much money. They can make endless blueprints, and I'm part of the problem. I buy a lot of these blueprints mostly for content creation. Like I buy these bundles, I showcase them, I show you what they look like in game, yada yada yada, and then you can kind of, as the followers and consumers and stuff like that, make the decision if you actually think that it's worth the $20-$30 that a lot of these bundles and stuff cost. And for me, I could just at the end of the month write this stuff off as a tax write-off. So it's a completely different situation. If I wasn't in content creation, I was just playing the game, I would probably honestly just get like 1, maybe 2 skins that I liked or whatever and keep it pushing. Like I said, I'm still part of that problem though, but they put so much time and energy into these bundles and stuff. And I'm also fully aware that the people that make bundles are not the same people that deal with, different aspects of the game and the anti-cheat and all of that kind of stuff. But why not just put more money into the anti-cheat? or hiring someone who they already have an effective anti-cheat and saying, here, help us get our game together. It doesn't make any sense to me, man. I don't get it, right? Like, what are you doing? And do I think that this is actually going to affect them overall? No, because the thing is that, like I said, the average player does not really care about content creators and their struggles, or good players, competitive players, any of that kind of stuff. As much as we like to think that's like the majority of people in the game, especially if that's with skill-based matchmaking all you experience, it's not true. I have lots of friends that play Call of Duty, and none of them really play it on a competitive level. Every single time that we load into a match together and their party leader, their lobbies are night and day from what it is that I experience. They're having a great time. They're seldom ever they can count on one hand how many times they've ran into a hacker or anything even like that. And even when they do get hacked on, they're probably spamming the button to respawn so quick they don't even think that it was a hacker. They just think they just got deleted or whatever. So no, I don't think that this is an issue that is going to affect their bottom line, really, simply because once people like me and more competitive people and other creators and stuff get to a point where we're just irritated and we move on, the average person, they're playing Call of Duty. It's what they got installed, especially with most consoles nowadays. Like, they don't even have enough room to have more than 1 or 2 games on there because most of them are 500 gigs. And the game, itself is like 200 gigs plus. That's only if you got like Warzone on there. Then if you got other, games on there, like, multiplayer and all that kind of stuff, you're pretty much, SOL. And God forbid you like to play other games that are big like GTA or anything like that. Games that, 70, 80 plus gigabytes and stuff. You don't have a lot of options. You got to kind of put what you have on there, and that's what you play. Not to mention the average person just doesn't have a lot of time to game. They got to work 9 through 5 and do all this other stuff. So, I don't think that it's going to affect their bottom line like greatly or anything, but it's just infuriating because it's a problem that you don't have to deal with. Imagine how much more popular your game would be and how much less infuriating it would be every time you make a post and all everybody's saying is, bro, can you fix the anti-cheater? Here's this video of this dude just spinning around in circles, just mowing everybody down like it's, he's blindfolded, hanging upside down, just, holding down, R2 or whatever. So I don't know, man. I had to kind of get that rant out of my system. I'm so tired of this. You're talking about 4 or 5 years, maybe even longer now, that we have been just dealing with this. And this season we're gonna get those cheaters, and we just banned 40,000 people. Whoop-de-doo, you banned 40,000 people. You know what that means? 40,000 people now have to go make new accounts. Oh well, we made it to where you got to have 30 wins to be able to play ranked. Okay, do you think that someone who is hacking gives an actual damn? No, they don't care, bro. No one cares. Like, they're gonna get that immediately. What are you talking about? They're hacking, man. Like, you know how hard it is to hack and still be trash at the game? Exceedingly hard. Now, I have seen it before. It happens. But for the most part, though, if you have half a brain cell and you're hacking, you're gonna be able to win matches. So all of these, like, measures that you're taking are just half measures. And you know what half measures give you? Half measured results. Like, that's what they give you. Do better, man. Figure something out. Admit you're wrong and move on. Do you think that, like, it's embarrassing, like, if you come out and say, oh, well, we made this anti-cheat, it doesn't work? No one will care. You know what people care about is results. If I go to McDonald's and I order a chicken sandwich and some fries and you come out to me with a burger, I don't want to hear you give me a bunch of excuses about why you gave me the burger and maybe the burger is actually better than the chicken sandwich. Bro, go back inside, bring me my chicken sandwich. Like, that's all I want. I don't care about all the excess stuff and the in-between. Just give me what it is that I want and keep it pushing. We're here to play a game. We're here to not get cheated on and hacked on. And that's the thing, is like, if you're someone who is playing genuinely, the slap in the face that it is to get hacked on and to report them, and they're hacking, and then like Kyle's just like, oh yeah, well, we're gonna review it, and you never see anything about it. And then even knowing that, like, they're just gonna, even if they do get banned, they're just gonna start a new account. They're a hacker. They're not invested. They haven't sat here for days on end and grinded out the mastery camo. They haven't sat here and had to do all the unlock and all that stuff. They have the tools that just do that stuff instantly for them, and they just load into a match and go on like nothing's happened. It's an extra few seconds of their day to get right back to where they were prior to being banned. Meanwhile, you sit over here and you shadow ban people all day long who actually weren't cheating. And then when you do shadow ban them, and then you unshadow, or I'm sorry, not even just shadow ban, but like it can be shadow ban, regular ban, actual full ban, then you come back later, you unban them, you go, oh, well, there was something going on with our systems. Not even an apology, nothing. The hell are we doing, man? Pull this shit together. Come on. Like, we're literally almost it basically is 2025 now. 2025. The level of technology that we have that exists just in my back pocket right now, and you're telling me you can't make an anti-cheat and you have billions upon billions upon billions of dollars, is BS. It's total BS. And it just feels, I'm not saying that this is a fact. I have no proof or anything of this. I'm simply saying that there's a rumor that y'all selling them things out the back end of the shop. You know what I'm saying? That y'all sitting here, you got the developers developing the game, and the developers walk out of the studio and they go around the corner to Cheats R Us, and they're like, yo, here you go, here's whatever you need, blah, blah, blah. Because the thing is like, you can't even play a beta anymore without getting hacked on. First day of the beta, dudes are just like, got the hacks already. How do you have hacks before the game has even fully launched, bro? Explain that to me. Where are you getting that from? It ain't just coming out of thin air. What are we doing, man? What are we doing? What's going on? Pull it together. Please, for the love of God, pull it together. Because I have built my whole channel off of Call of Duty content. Whole entire channel. But I will, in the blink of an eye, I will switch this thing over to Fortnite, Delta Force, Marvel Rivals. I actually really have been enjoying Marvel Rivals. And you know what's funny about all those games I just named? Really don't be seeing hackers like that. Now, Delta Force, it does have some hackers. They definitely come out every now and again. But it's nowhere near an issue like how it is in COD, how it's just a free-for-all, how anybody can just kind of do whatever they want. And it's like, Ricochet, we added more, memory to the server so it can process more and reviews and recordings and blah, blah. Bro, shut up. Just make a different anti-cheat. I'm so tired of hearing about Ricochet. Nobody cares. That shit don't work. It has not worked this whole time. And it's not going to just magically start working. But, that's my rant for the day. I'm about to get back on it. I just did all that, and I'm literally about to jump back into ranked play, because I'm addicted to this game, and I can't stand it. I've been addicted to it. There is nothing else that really gives me the dopamine rush that Call of Duty gives me. Now, Marvel Rivals comes really close, but the problem with Marvel Rivals is that it's a team-based game. And even in this, when it's a team-based game, I can at least kind of outmaneuver and, finesse my enemy. Whereas in Rivals and things like that, like hero shooters and stuff like that, you have to have a really good team setup. That's how the game is designed. It's designed to where there's strengths and weaknesses to everything and everyone, encounters and stuff like that. Whereas in COD, it just comes down to your gunny skills. You know what I'm saying? And your map knowledge, and if you're rocking the right loadout, whatever. But still though, I'm about to hop back on. I'm gonna keep grinding out ranked until I get to the normal rank that I like to be at, and then maybe I'll feel comfortable jumping into something else and playing something else. But like I said though, usually this is not how we roll on this channel. Usually I try to come with good news, information, tips, tricks, all that kind of jazz. But I kind of had to get it out of my system, because seeing that tweet last night or yesterday evening, whenever it was, and them being like, oh well, starting in season 2, which isn't until 45 days from now, we're going to do this. And, we're processing more reports. Why are you sitting here by hand? Do you understand how people are cheating and how that's just not possible? All that money you're paying people to sit there and process reports, you could just have a good kernel-level anti-cheat. And then you can redirect that money into something else. But no, y'all want to keep slapping that Ricochet, icon on everything and having a whole startup screen. Ricochet. Ricka garbage. That's what it is. It's garbage. It's garbage. It doesn't work. Admit it. Just say it. It doesn't work. This is Dark, though. I'm going to catch you on the next one.